It was still dark when Harold Pike unlocked the back door of the Pike & Sons funeral home with church bells chiming 6 o'clock. He wasn't a sentimental man, but he paused for a moment staring at the sign. There were never any sons, he thought. Just him. And today, he was expected to work a miracle. 5 funerals. 5 full-body viewings. All in one day. God help me, he muttered. It's gonna be close. The first body, Mrs. Elsie Dunlap, wasn't difficult. Peaceful expression, a gentle death. Harold powdered her face and brushed a bit of blush onto her sunken cheeks. The false eyelashes were already glued when he also realized her wig was missing. No time. He took a gray one from a box marked Unclaimed Personal Effects. He remembered vaguely it had belonged to a woman who was cremated 2 months ago. She wouldn't miss it, and neither would the family. The second body, 16-year-old Connor Bell, had been in a terrible motorcycle accident. Skull fractures, missing an ear, lips torn. Harold stared at the ruin of the boy's face and exhaled slowly. "Closed casket," he whispered. "Please, let it be closed." But no, they wanted an open casket. Harold cursed under his breath and went to the basement. He rolled open drawer number 7. Inside was the unclaimed body of a recent overdose, 20-something male, face intact, right build. No one had come to claim him. Harold got to work. He peeled the unbroken face from the John Doe like a mask, steady, slow cuts with the scalpel, leaving just enough cheekbone, enough tension. Then he layered it over Connor's broken face like a craftsman patching porcelain. He stitched it along the hairline and behind the ears, tucked a bit of foundation under the eyes. Glasses would help, he thought. He never forgot the way the donor's mouth hung slightly open, lips slack and torn, as if protesting. The third funeral was for a woman named Marlene Briggs, a fire victim. Charred torso, teeth intact. Again, open casket. Again, time. Harold pulled a Jane Doe from the cooler, pale, clean. Died in her sleep at a motel. He remembered her because her eyes had stayed open, even in death. He removed her head. With trembling hands, he attached it to Marlene's body with surgical tape and a scarf to hide the seam. As he did, her eyelids fluttered. Harold jumped back, the scalpel clattering to the floor, but she lay still again. He swore he was just tired, just overtired. The fourth funeral was for a child, a 6-year-old girl named Lily who died of leukemia. Delicate, frail. Her little body had decayed rapidly, the skin bloated and darkened. Her mother wanted her in her favorite dress, the yellow one with daisies, and wanted her smiling. "Like an angel," she'd said, sobbing. Harold couldn't make that happen, but drawer number 3 held the perfect stand-in. Another child, recently drowned but not yet bloated. The same age, similar features. His assistant placed Lily's dress on the stand-in, curled her hair just so, and slid a picture of Lily into the hands of the corpse. "It's still her," he whispered, trying to convince himself. "It's still her in spirit." The last was a man who died of natural causes, and for once, the work was easy. He handled that one with full care. Dignity. The only real one. By sunset, the funerals were complete. Every casket was perfect. The families left tearful but grateful, and Harold Pike had pulled off the impossible. But as he mopped the floor that night, something shifted. The lights flickered. The mortuary fridge hummed low and cold. And a hissing whisper curled up from the drain in the embalming room, saying in a slow, hurt voice, "You gave me her name." He stopped mopping as he heard another voice say, "I wore a stranger's skin." He turned to the drawers. They were closed, silent. But, in the corner of the prep room, silhouetted against the evening sky, he saw them. A pale woman in a daisy dress, a teenager with 2 sets of lips, a woman with a scarf too tight around her neck, a faceless man with an open mouth. They weren't there when he turned, only when he looked in the mirror. Every new body after that whispered to him. Some smiled, and he saw old stitches in their gums. Some blinked, even when he knew their eyes had been removed. One little girl, just a year later, arrived on his table with a photo in her pocket. The same picture he had placed in Lily's cold hands. He tried to sleep most nights with a radio on and lights bright, but they still came. Just to remind him never to hurt him, but he was never sure.